Okay, check it. I'm completely new to the RP scene on Twitter, but Tumblr has been my go-to for role-playing, but after the site practically coming in on itself, I moved here. I'm super nervous of folks and have a hard time introducing myself, so I tend to do the hello, hi, yo, how's it going approach that worked for me with the role players of Tumblr. I, however, did not realize that is frowned upon, or really frowned upon, on the Twitter roleplay community, and as an OC blog, that comes off as even more unbearable. Does anyone have any tips for properly introducing themselves for an anxious guy like me? Everybody says not to say hi, but never how to approach them. I really want to reach out to some folks on here. Like, for real.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, organics of all ages, I am Double R, and today we are going to cover the whole incident about how to do introductions in a basic term. Now, in the description down below, I will share the OC Conundrum link, as well as the link of the person who is trying to help as well. That being said, we need to break down things that you need to be mindful of before you try to interact with anybody on Twitter at least. First things first, read their pinned, read their bio. Bio will have some basic information, and pinned will definitely have basic information and most likely their rules and their limitations. This is important. You can find out if they are a fandom puritist or if they're crossover friendly. The difference between this is pretty straightforward. A fandom puritist means they interact solely with the fandom, canon characters of the sort, and very rarely OCs. What I mean by this is if they say they are the Blade fandom, they only deal with the Blade fandom, then characters related to directly with Blade, that fandom, Deacon Frost and other folks of that nature, maybe the West Coast Avengers, whatever, anything that Blade has interacted with, that's what they deal with. That's it. The Blade fandom. They don't care about the rest of Marvel. They don't care about the X-Men. They don't care about X Factor. They don't care about Deadpool doing things. Unless Blade has interacted with that character or those characters specifically, they don't care. Versus the crossover friendly group, which is pretty much more open to, say, mixing Dragon Ball with Marvel, mixing Marvel with DC, you know, characters interacting with others. Like Shredder talking to Ultron, things like that. Crossover friendly. Some folks will say OC friendly. This is important. When they say OC friendly, the first thing you have to do as an OC will be to ensure your pinned and your bio is good to go. Nothing worse than opening up an OC that has no pinned, no bio. They have the picture of Optimus Prime. The header is of the Silverhawks, and the first post is about Captain Power. What the hell am I dealing with here? And that's how people will react to that character. They'll be like, I don't know what I'm dealing with. Not going to interact with you. Don't care you're an OC. You have nothing here I can work with. I don't know which one of these you're supposed to be representing. Nothing makes sense. No logic. Got nothing. Moving on. So as an OC, make sure you have a consistent bio pinned. Make sure your Avi and header make some sort of sense, at least with your character. You get the idea. Next step, check how they tweet. Sometimes they'll tweet 2 to 5 different tweets. That's how long their posts are, 2 to 5 tweets. Keep that in mind when you make an introduction.
Typically, role players will roleplay in the sentence, paragraph, etc. style. Pretty straightforward. As Double R stands here and wonders why the sun's in his face, he wonders why he left his note cards downstairs. Third person, but sentence, paragraph style. Now within the paragraph group, there's more descriptives. There's the sentence, the paragraph, the frickin' novel. The novel is your big one. The novel is several paragraphs worth, typically between 3 to 5 or more. That's novel. You got it? The novel group will typically be very detailed. Detailed to high detail to very detailed, you get the idea. Detailed, of course, means how much detail you're going to put into it. Am I wearing a shirt, or am I wearing a navy blue shirt with a design that's Hyrulean? That's the question, right? You got it? Detailed, navy blue shirt. Normal text, blue shirt. The more detailed you get, the more lines you take. Yellow Triforce emblem here with Ganon and Zelda and Link. You get the idea, right? You get it, you got it, good.
Try to keep within the same range of interaction. If they make 5 tweets, you want to make around 2 to 5 tweets. Not just one word or one sentence. But if they make a bunch of one word, one sentences, you're within that boat to do the same thing. I state this because there will be some writer differences. Again, that was covered in season 1.
I fixed it. I brought it back. First person is pretty much I, me, you. Those kind of pronouns. That's typically first person. When you write in those tenses where you know you can use I and me, that is first person. You got it? I don't mean the character saying, I will do this. No, you state out of character in the action. I move this way. I move that way. I see you coming towards me. That's first person. Third person. You speak as a third person. You speak out of it. Double R has sun in his eyes.
This also means you gotta be mindful of the voice they're using. Are they speaking third person or first person? Very important. Some folks who do first person do not like reading third person and vice versa. Be mindful of this. Another thing to double check, while you're reading their rules, see their statement or their stance. See their stance on DM. Some of them will say open DM, open the plot, go ahead and contact me, yada yada, blah blah blah. And some of them will be like, no DM without permission. Which means if you DM them without permission, insta-block. You did it to yourself, you didn't read instruction, issue 2. Why do I bring this up? All these little things add up. Now, the next part of this is something to consider as well. If you're planning on longer storylines or interacting with a character more so, follow them. This is actually pretty important. There are times where I interact with people that I don't follow, and I keep it as a mental note of a limited interaction. I'm not expecting more out of them. I'm not expecting a big storyline out of them. It's just a quick interaction here and there and whatever. But if you're expecting a storyline, like a longer storyline or an ongoing storyline, or you want to keep interacting with these people, follow them first. Second thing, go through at least their solo posts. Things that they're just doing for a status update. Like ones that your character would like. Let me say that again. Like the ones that your character would like. This is not to butter the person up exactly. What this is showing is, hey, this is where my character would most likely lean, or your character has said something that my character would agree with. It's just showing that this is where your character stands with their character. Not everything has to be liked. Literally, not everything has to be liked. Just like a couple of the posts that are status updates, just like them, be like, hey, my character's fully for that. Maybe after a couple of those, next thing you want to do, remember the DM situation. If it's closed and they don't want to interact in the DMs, then the battle plan would be to quote retweet one of the statuses that you like and give your character's take on it. But you said that they might do 2 to 5 posts. What do I do then? That's simple. The first one that's a quote retweet, that's post 1. Go right on that as a response to yourself and keep it going until you're done. This way they see the whole thing. Believe me, if they actually read, they'll see the other things that you applied to. But if they do have DMs open, that's when you go in there and go, hey, I have an idea for a plot. And when I say that you have an idea for a plot, what I'm telling you, I'm not saying be aggressive, I'm not saying be gung-ho, but what I'm saying is if you're going to offer to roleplay with them, Come up with a basic idea that y'all can work on. A basic storyline, a basic plot that y'all can bounce it between each other to make a story. That's not being aggressive. That's just being a little, what's the word? I guess the word would be assertive. You're taking charge in a way. You're doing something that shows, yes, you have a general idea to get the characters to interact with each other. You have a general idea of what to do here. And most of the people just like to respond and like to just go willy-nilly, whatever. But if you do a plot, at least offer something up first. Just offer it out there. Hey, what if we do this? Then that leaves it open to them to go, I don't really feel like that would work, but maybe, and then they can put up their offer, then y'all can go back and forth and work it out to a good plot for both of you. Be open about your plan. If you're planning on having your character date their character at some point, just bring that up at that point in time. Hey, I'm looking for a plot where our characters would get romantically involved. Done. A simple thing, very straightforward. Most people be like, meh, or okay, what's the plan? Now that I've said all that, the actual video about introductions I will be making near the end of season 2. I just want to get the basics out the way, so when you want to interact with somebody, that is the best, general, safest way to do it without getting yourself insta-blocked. So as our quick recap, 1, double check their pinned and bio and read their rules. 2, ensure that they are not fandom specific if you are not a canon character of that fandom. Again, if they're fandom elitist, if they're only based on that fandom, you're not going to really get anywhere. Don't waste your time. But if they say crossovers welcome, you have a shot. If they say OC's welcome, you have a shot. My character is OC friendly. That means make sure your OC is in good order. Make sure you have a good bio and you have a good pinned. Make sure their DM status. Is it open? Is it closed? Because if it's closed and you jump in there, they're not going to like you. Make sure you're following them and like the post that would apply to your character or that your character would like. Things like this build up momentum for a person. If their DM is closed, do a quote retweet. And I say quote retweet because if you just straight up reply, you might have thrown them off their groove. You might have thrown them off their game. Maybe they set this post up for someone else and you just ruined it. And then that will get you insta-blocked, and that's not good either. But quote retweet will allow it to be out of the way, and it puts them less on the defensive. They can go, oh, I can reply to this a little bit later. I'm like in a zone for something else right now. I can get to it later. And lastly, don't be impatient. Just because they haven't responded to you in the first 5 seconds does not mean they won't get to you. All right? Some people get into a muse zone and they are stuck in that zone and they cannot veer off. But they're replying to other people. They cannot veer off. Be patient. Sometimes they'll respond. Sometimes they might overlook it. So you just do that again. Quote retweet a different one. And again, keep it within the same distance, same amount of tweets, same amount of posts. Now, if they're doing like 20 posts at a time and you're like, oh my lord, that's a lot. Chances are they might be, I'm not saying out of your league. I'm just saying if that's intimidating, take a step back. Send your intro, again, as planned, as plotted. Send the intro, quote retweet, do as many posts as you think you can do comfortably and see how they respond. Because some people will tone down a bit going, okay, this is your pace. I can do that when I'm a little bit less in the flow. But if you do all of that, you have a better chance at getting interactions than, say, following someone and instantly jumping their DMs. Hey, you want a plot? Well, my thing says a closed DM, and you just jumped in my DMs, which means you don't know how to read. Blocked. Or, hey, you just started following me. I don't know who the hell you are. I'm fandom specific. You're an OC. I'm not going to deal with you. Blocked. You get the idea. You want to limit the amount of blocks that you can be hit with while coming off as open and as friendly as possible. And again, I'll do this at the end of season 2 and have an actual big whole thing about intros and character design and yada yada and blah blah blah. So until then, I'm Double R. I'm out. Y'all have fun role playing. And for the love of China, stop picking fights with each other. Okay? Can we do that, please? This is a roleplay community. We're supposed to be acting like a community. Good Lord. I'm out.